Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Hardim Tripathi from Trip Law. Today I want to just talk about E-2 visas, continuing the playlist of kind of what you all have seen thus far. Today I want to kind of talk about sample templates for CEOs, you business owners for the E-2 visa program who are coming here and dealing with job descriptions. So let's kind of reiterate, if you haven't seen other past videos, I'll kind of briefly discuss what is the E-2 visa. The E-2 visa program is a treaty-based investor program that certain countries have with the United States of America. And what this means for you listening in right now is if you're from an E-2 treaty-based country, your home country has a treaty with the United States of America. And what that does for you is it ultimately allows you the opportunity to invest funds in a commercial enterprise that will ultimately lead you to getting a E-2 visa, which is a very strong visa here in these great United States of America, and allows you the opportunity to ultimately have a spouse who can get a derivative beneficiary status to get a work permit. Your children who are minors can go to public school here, and we do a lot of these, and we love them because ultimately you're doing it in a way that's stimulating the United States economy. You're creating U.S. jobs for U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents, and you as that immigrant have that wonderful opportunity as a CEO of your business to invest a certain amount of funds to a commercial enterprise and ultimately live that American dream. So today this video is going to specifically talk about you as that CEO of your business in the home country. May it be Haiti, may it be Jamaica, may it be Canada, Mexico, Portugal, South Africa, Brazil, wherever you come from. Americans love that because ultimately you're stimulating that GDP, you're stimulating the economy, and you're ultimately the CEO. You control the business. You are the one who ultimately gets to decide what you want to do for that company through this E-2 visa program. And when you're applying to the State Department to get this visa, it's very important that you have a very well-drafted CEO job description. This is one key component that a lot of lawyers don't talk about on YouTube, or just generally speaking, people don't know about, but we here at our law firm, we love this part of it because this is your job. This is your opportunity to ultimately explain to these officers in the government here in these great United States, to ultimately show what is your value. You've already done this in your home country. If you're listening in as an immigrant right now, kudos to you because you have done it in your country. This is nothing that you've never done before. I give you kudos and I give you props because here's the thing. You're just basically doing the same thing that you've done in that country and you're bringing it over to America. And you're providing that experience to that USCIS officer if you're going to be doing an adjustment, or if you're applying just for the E-2 visa. Visas are done through the State Department. You're ultimately going to the State Department interview and you're basically providing them what is called a CEO job description. It's usually a letter that our firm provides to people, to immigrant clients, and to make sure that they succeed in that specific endeavor. So I have a couple notes here that I would love to kind of share with y'all. These notes are golden. They have won. I mean, we are getting clients who are getting wonderful opportunities to come here. Specifically, the last one we helped was from Mexico, and it was amazing. These people are able to come here, live a good life, and ultimately create a better life for their children. I'm an immigrant. As an attorney, I'm telling you this straight up. I'm an immigrant from India. One of the biggest things I've loved about this country is the fact that you can do whatever you want here in a way to become successful in terms of doing it the right, legal, ethical way. There are opportunities here for immigrants and for Americans who want to make it. And so the number one thing is having that CEO job description. And it's usually a template that we provide to our clients. All you have to do is sign. When you come into our office, our number here is 1-863-370-2427. And you can email us for any further questions at info@trip-law.com. That's info@trip, the hyphen sign, law.com. And we're more than happy to walk you through this CEO job description template that you must provide to the embassy or the consulate abroad because it's very important. It's like the meat and potatoes. In other videos, we've talked about the business plan being the meat and potatoes. Well, this is like its understudy. This is something that's very important. You have to provide kind of the value that you bring as that CEO. You as a young woman or a young man who are coming here, or someone who's more seasoned as well, this is such an important component of your application. This is something that's going to be scrutinized when you're at the interview, and a lot of attorneys don't talk about it, but we think this is what's been the secret sauce of kind of how we've won our cases, because ultimately when you have a CEO job description, the government completely knows, especially in the franchise model, in the franchise space. We help a lot of Indians who come here through different, not through E2 because India is not an E2 country, but through different passports and programs. There's always a way. Even if you're not an E2 country, you can find a way to make sure you're confined by the laws and ethics. There are ways to bring you here. But what's really interesting is we've been able to find CEO job descriptions for Indians who go to Antigua and other countries and are able to provide the CEO job description in a way that ultimately benefits their family, but ultimately does affect in a positive manner the U.S. industry, the GDP, the values that American officers look for at these embassies. So one big thing I want to talk about is you're going to have a CEO job description. This is a templated thing that we do for a lot of our clients, and it works. It's very beautiful. And I'm here to tell you about the components of it. So let's just dive right in. Ultimately, what we do is I have it right here in front of me, and I'm going to kind of walk you through step by step kind of what we do for clients who are CEOs. If you're a CEO on the other side of the line here and you have the wherewithal and the knowledge and you've done it in your home country, well then bring it over here to the U.S. Bring your culture, bring your values, bring all the attributes, and bring all the good skills that you have. Create those jobs. Well, in order to do that, you're the CEO. You are the one who are ultimately creating this. We do it for you though. What we do is we basically put this towards the hiring company, right, for the E2. So what we do is we literally write this, and I'm reading you the words. So if you are listening, take a piece of paper and a pen out and write this down, because this is very important. I'm giving you solid information right now. It's not legal advice, of course. I always recommend you reach out to your lawyer, preferably Trip Law. We'd be more than happy to walk you through it. But these are certain attributes that we provide to our clients that we've seen that has won for them. We have had Mexican nationals, Canadian nationals, nationals from all over the world that have won E2s because they've used this template, and it's gotten them that W. And so ultimately, take it as you may, but this is very important. Ultimately, on the very top of it, in the centerfold, you want to make sure you put your job title. You want to put that you're a CEO, and you want to put your name of your company. All right, XYZ company. That's very important. First of all, USCIS. If you're doing it through the adjustment side, we'll have to know that. And if you're obviously doing it through the E2 side, it's going through the visa process. So you're going through the State Department. They're going to look at it. The state consular officers are all going to look at this. Very important. They're going to have to know, he or she who is going to be looking at your application is going to want to know your name, your job title, and kind of what your company is. Very important that you big and bold that right on the top centerfold. It's very important. And once you come to our office and have that consult, we'll show you how to do this. We'll provide you these documents. We'll make sure you have everything ready to go so there's no hiccups on the front end nor the back end. Because you're investing thousands and thousands of dollars. There is zero room for error in these kind of situations. So that's why it's really good to have a solid attorney who's going to help you with this. And myself, I used to work for the State Department. I kind of understand how they roll, right? How they operate. So it's very important that you get a good lawyer. Shop around, talk to your lawyers, ask them questions. How many have you done? How many have you won? What's going on with your case with this type of situation, or what's going on with your case with that type of situation? All these questions are very important. You are also a part of the team. Here at Trip Law, we do a lot of teamwork-based approaches. So when it comes down to job descriptions for CEOs, very important. You also want to talk about your company. You want to talk about strategic and business aspects of the company. Very important. You're the first in command. You're the CEO if you're listening in on this, and your business matters to you. You may have a lot of staff that may not, have the same sort of passion or the same sort of attributes that you have succeeded in that home country. So it's very important that you talk about, proper strategic directions as it relates to that country, and kind of how you have done it in that country and how you plan on doing that here. You're basically mirroring that with the E2 country. We had a client in South Africa who was running tiles, and we were able to show how they were able to do that in South Africa and how they were able to do it here. So when you look at kind of the parallels, it's very important that you show the U.S. government, especially the State Department, who's going to scrutinize all this, that you are the CEO, you're the boss, man or woman, and you're the one who has that authority and the wherewithal and understanding the business that you're in. And we at Triple Law, with the business backgrounds that we bring, along with the pharmaceutical as well as the legal, we're able to kind of see it, and we know, and we can provide you that counsel. We also have business consultants on staff who will help you as well. Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about responsibilities, and we're going to go right into this, and it's going to be really quick after this. But responsibilities are key. I'm actually going off notes I've taken with questions that I've received from other E2 professionals who have tried to get their visas, and we've succeeded on getting them those visas. What we look at is we want to develop basically high-quality business strategies. You want to have high-quality business strategies. When I say high quality, it has to be above and beyond. It can't just be like a normal, regular lay of the land kind of thing. You have to have high quality. I mean, high quality by the law is very different. We'll walk you through that. But basically, you have to ensure that you're aligning your short-term and long-term objectives in a way that's going to benefit not only your company and get a return on that investment, but also at the same time make sure that U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents are benefiting, because that's how you get that visa. That's ultimately your win. That's the W. You're also wanting to see how are your overall operations running. How are your business activities ensuring ultimately that you're basically producing desired results? You need to have results that are going to be consistent with respect to that overall strategy that you've talked about. We'll help you with that. I think that's very important. When the officer at the State Department is going to ask you those deep questions about your business, you need to make sure that you're providing desired results that are going to benefit the American populace and the people, as well as for your business, and that you have proven track records in that home country that are going to align with the values of these great United States of America. Furthermore, you want to develop. It's all about development. A business does not become successful overnight. Trust me, I know that as a business owner myself, running a law firm and helping other business professionals. You have to make sure that you have business strategies and plans in place. That's the number one thing. Without a plan or without a goal or an end goal in mind, where are we headed? So those midterm and long-term goals are very important to the State Department. We'll walk you through that in our consult. We'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get that success. That's the most important thing. You also have to make sure that you're motivating your subordinates, your staff, all the people that you have. We have to prove that there's effective strategies in place that are going to do that. Highlighted in writing, literally with a game plan. That's also needed. And you have to have high-performing managerial teams. So you're going to have to show certain documents that show that you've done some sort of business-related sort of evaluations on your team. These are all things that are standard in business. And I think you, as someone who's listening in on this, have been a leader in your space in that business overseas. You can do the same thing here. It's just a different country, different laws, of course. That's why I have a lawyer. But it never changes with respect to the work that the people are doing. That U.S. citizens and the legal permanent residents you're going to be hiring are going to always have to do the same standards that you had in that home country. Very important. Also, you're going to have to make high-quality investing decisions. And you have to advance the business and increase profits. If you're listening to this already, you've already taken the first step by typing into YouTube, finding a lawyer like us who have business experience and legal experience. But at the end of the day, you have to get returns on your investment. This is very important. You've already done it in your home country. Let's do it here. We will teach you how to do that. We have business consultants on hand who will tell you exactly how to do it in accordance with U.S. law and policy. That is where we win. That is the number one way we win. Because then when we provide that to the government's going to know your business in and out, you're going to know your business in and out, and then we know the projections, we know the steps that we have to take as a team. Remember, we don't work for you, you don't work for us, we're working together as a team. A lot of lawyers will tell you certain things. We don't do that. We work with you. We want to make sure that you are still the CEO of your business. We're just accompanying you along for the ride in accordance to the law and policy in these great United States of America. So at the end of the day, we got to make sure that you're actually getting the returns that you wanted, but at the same time, getting the immigration things met on that side as well. Very important. So high quality investing decisions is one of the most important aspects of this type of protocol that we do when we submit things to the State Department for your E2 visa. Very important. Then there's also strict adherence to legal guidelines. So ultimately what we're looking at is in-house policies. You may have a business plan in place that says that you can only do this, 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 and this, but you can't do that, 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 and that. And that's important because the government's going to want to know that. They want to know that you have policies in place that are going to abide by U.S. law and policy based on labor regulations and standards from the Department of Labor, based on state-specific situations. And you want to make sure your legality and your business ethics are completely aligned with kind of what is going on with the U.S. government and also with, labor and state standards. And you've already done this in your home country, so this isn't something where you're reinventing the wheel. This is something you've already done. You're already a good businessman or woman. You've already done this. It's worked, and we're just bringing it over to America. We're expanding your business, and we're giving you the immigration benefits that do result, as a natural course of business. So very good that we talk about that, and we will bring that up in our legal consultation that we will have. We will discuss that, and I think it's very important. Also, one of the biggest things I've run into with E2 clients, if it wasn't documented, if it wasn't written, it never happened. So one big thing is we really like to review financial plans. We like to review non-financial reports as well, and we want to devise certain solutions or improvements with the business, and we have business consultants on that regard. And then we, as your lawyers, will also pair it up with immigration so you know that your financial and non-financial reports do align with accordance to IRS, align with everything involving tax solutions, making sure that you're in the right place and standard moving forward. Very important. I cannot stress the importance that how many of my clients have had to struggle through a lot of different issues as it relates to tax purposes or IRS related issues. We can actually nip that in the bud on the front end if we do it right. You have good CPAs, good tax accountants that we work and partner with to make sure that financial and non-financial solutions are being met. And me personally as an attorney, I've worked at various Big Four organizations like Deloitte and PwC and all these different companies. We understand the tax implications of your business. So ultimately I'm not a tax lawyer, I'm an immigration lawyer, but we have other staff members on our team who do that. We also outsource a lot of it. And so you're always taken care of as it relates to taxes because that's the number one thing the government will also look at. It's very important. You got to make sure your finances are in order and to make sure that it does not have any adverse impacts on your immigration matter as well. So when you come into our office and we talk to you about it, this will be something we'll definitely be more than happy to talk about. It's one of the most important pillars that we like to make sure that we nip in the bud initially so you don't have to deal with that on the back end. Don't have to deal with audits and things of that nature. And if you do, we're always there for you anyways. Very big thing. Now, you're also going to realize that there's going to be problematic situations that come from any business. A lot of my clients, especially the COVID pandemic, if you're listening to this now, it's June 3rd, 2022 at about 1:46 p.m. in the middle of the afternoon. Well, we're just coming off of a pandemic. And with the pandemic, there's a lot of issues that do result as it relates to problematic situations in healthcare for your staff and staffing and things like that. We make sure that you survive. At the end of the day, proving to the government that you're going to grow, that you're going to survive, is a big thing. And it does have immigration implications. We're going to talk about that as well when you come into our office for that consult. Number one thing we have to also talk about. Another thing is trust relations. I mean, listening to this video, you probably have a lot of trust issues. You don't know this lawyer from Sam, right? So one big thing is shake a hand. Get to come into our office, get on Zoom, talk to us. Number one thing that the government looks at is trust relations. Trust relations with key partners. You may have multiple partners who may be U.S. citizens. Some may be other partners from other countries. So a lot of it will involve partners within your space that are also trying to either get an immigration benefit or are part of your team here in the United States. So a lot of it, you have a lot of stakeholders. You may have board of directors. You may have different business entities involved. All that needs to be hashed out. This is why immigration law, specifically as it relates to business, gets a little complicated. Definitely want a lawyer for that. We're savants when it comes to it because we understand the difference between S corps and LLCs and all the different entities that you can do. It's very state specific. We have state lawyers who work on that we partner you up with, and that's very important. Another thing is you want to maintain contact with important shareholders. You're going to have shareholders that you're going to have to talk to. Very important that you maintain contact. You get everything in writing. We also aid in that as your lawyer. We want to make sure that none of this gets affected adversely when you're talking to the State Department when it comes time for your visa interview. And then finally, you just want to be kept abreast of markets and industry trends. We also like to see what's going on in the future. And ultimately, if your business, let's say it's in IT consulting or in franchising or in real estate and things of that nature, you want to make sure that you kind of understand the trends here in the States. What may be good over in your home country may not be relevant here in the States. So we have consultants in place that are going to walk you through this, through the whole program. So it's very important that you understand what is going to happen once you file, once you have your business, and once you're in the process with immigration. How is that all going to run? All that's very important as well. So I just kind of gave you a little rundown, high level. I mean, there's a lot. I can go through it all day. But the reason why I wanted to give you this kind of knowledge and this knowledge base is because it's very involved. This is why you really need a lawyer for these kind of situations, because not only are you doing business, but you're doing immigration in a foreign country where you're trying to expand. And I just think that based on my professional and personal experiences, that at the end of the day, you're not in it alone. You're in it with an attorney who's got your back. You're in it with Trip Law. We're here to help you. At the end of the day, we've gone through these, we've done these, we know what's expected. We understand also another thing, each embassy is different. So ultimately, if you're applying from Canada, the requirements will be different if you're applying, from Jamaica. So a lot of this does matter. It's very country specific, it's very treaty based, and that's why it's called the E2 treaty based investor program, right? So at the end of all of this, I hope you found this video very informational. It was a little long, I do apologize for that, but very solid information that you're probably not going to find anywhere else. We just want to make sure that you have the path of least resistance and the way forward that's going to ultimately make sure that you get a return on your business and on your investment. But more importantly, that your spouse gets that work permit, your children have an opportunity to educate themselves and leave that home country and have a better life here in the United States. And obviously, the cultural values that you bring from those countries are very important to Americans. It's kind of what we are. We're a country of immigrants. I myself am an immigrant, speaking in front of you today as an immigrant. And ultimately, it comes down to that. So I hope you found this very resourceful. I hope you found this very informative. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Once again, our number is 863-370-2427. Our email is info@trip-law.com. But more importantly, make sure you're abiding by these compliance rules and laws and regulations, because you're dealing with multiple departments. You're dealing with the Department of Labor. You're dealing with the Department of Homeland Security's USCIS. You're dealing with the Department of State's Bureau of Consular Affairs in terms of the visa processing. National Visa Center and all that. So there's a lot of different moving parts. If there's any tax issues in your home country or criminal issues, and you got FBI involved, you got IRS. So it's just a lot. And that's why you leave it up to the professionals. We do a good job at it. And our goal is to make sure that you have that path of least resistance. So thank you so much for listening in. This is U.S. immigration attorney Hardam Tripathi from Trip Law, and we hope that you found this as somewhat resourceful. But we wish you the best with your E2 immigration journey as it relates to that CEO job description, and ultimately making sure that template is done correctly, so by the time you walk into that visa interview, you feel confident, you feel ready, and you're ready to start work and make that money in these great United States of America, and ultimately help people and have a good life for your family. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Hardam Tripathi, and have a great rest of your day.